is a presentation of Real Wise Productions and Coleman Media Incorporated. Saying something in your past and it still haunts you today, and being an accessory to a crime, and what you should do and how you should avoid it. Next on Mentality. Welcome to yet another installment and edition of Mentality, the place where iron sharpens iron in the areas of health, mental health, entrepreneurship, love, and brotherhood. I am one of the co-hosts of Mentality, Cole Johnson, and I am joined as always by the other co-host, and that is one Mr. Wize El Jefe. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good, preparing for this snowstorm.
Well, yeah, I hope you and the missus and the rest of your family, I hope that you all are bundled up and safe.
The missus is in the Dominican Republic right now, so she ain't got to worry about
that. Okay, so your missus is in the sun. Okay,
yeah, she's enjoying the sun right now.
All right. Yeah,
she's rubbing it in by sending me pictures of her on the lazy river.
Oh no. Well, hopefully I can help you enjoy being where you are while the missus is away, and that'll probably be my fate next week. Now, we're going to start with an oldie but goodie topic, and of course, we will probably delve into it in more in depth a little later in this canon of shows. But should it be possible for you to keep secrets in a relationship? Now, it's not uncommon to hear people say that the key to a good, loving, trust relationship is the fact that you're vulnerable. But the idea, though, is that if you could share your deepest thoughts and the depths of your soul with your partner, and if they can reciprocate, then it will help the two of you forge a bond that will be impossible to tear apart. Now, that may sound good and that may be great advice, but there is a difference, though, between being able to be vulnerable and opening up about every single thing, and simply doing so to, I guess you could say, be, how can I express this? Emotional diarrhea. So it's easy for a guy to who is romantic to be vulnerable to a partner, but sometimes you have to withhold some things. You have to understand when to do it and how to do it. So my question to you, sir, is why do you believe that we don't allow ourselves, and of course when I say ourselves I mean men, to be vulnerable in relationships?
We always talk about this, whereas men aren't allowed to show vulnerability. It's a sign of weakness if we show that we're vulnerable and that we have emotions and that we're not always the rock. Sometimes we hurt too. Sometimes we need some space to actually express ourselves and let go of some of the stuff that is troubling us.
somewhere around your parts, Wise, U.S. Senator John Fetterman. He
Yeah,
says that he's on the path to recovery, but he still is going to be out for a few more weeks before he goes back to Washington. Now, a spokesperson for the senator said that he checked himself into a hospital for clinical depression earlier in February, and he's still expected to be away from the Senate. Now, my question to you about that, when it says that he checked himself in for clinical depression, and of course, for those who are unaware, he also suffered from a stroke. We'll see, 10 months
last
ago.
year.
I had to
Yeah,
remember
last year.
May of
Last
2022.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it was right in the middle of his campaign to actually become senator, and he
Yes.
recovered and he got voted in.
And his opponent,
So,
we did not want a part of.
oh, good lord, you know what? Screw it. Okay, um, so part of my job, and now it's going to be the former part of my job now, was to cover actually all things Pennsylvania. So I saw the I don't know if you want to call it the campaign trail. And yes, good lord, I still can't believe what I'm about to say. But yes, his opponent, Josh Shapiro.
No, no. Josh Shapiro is the
Oh no,
governor.
no,
He
I'm
was
sorry,
the
no, it was
governor.
against
He was
gubernatorial
running
candidate.
against
That
Dr.
good lord, that's
Oz.
right. My bad, my bad. Mehmet Oz. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, okay, let me switch because I remember Shapiro had a pep rally and they decided to do a Heil Hitler song. Now, you would think that if you were going to endear yourself to a populace, that you would know the things about the place that the people who are going to vote you in, and would make you understand. Okay, so he knows or she knows exactly what I'm going through because he or she actually lives in the area, and I do. His home is in New Jersey, so I'm thinking to myself, okay, so he's running to be a Pennsylvania senator or represent Pennsylvania, I should say, in the Senate, but he's one state to the east, and he can't get a grocery store that's popular in the state in Wegmans. And I'm saying to myself, "Oh my gosh, this guy is sunk."
Well, first of all, his wife is from Pennsylvania. He lives in Jersey. They live in a mansion in Jersey, and
Right?
he just, I guess, when he decided that he was going to run for Pennsylvania, he was going to he pulled a Herschel Walker, and and thought that the people of Pennsylvania were fools and idiots, and they were going to vote him in.
Yeah, and you all proved them wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you proved them wrong. Yeah. I mean, the moment I saw that he was throwing his hat in the ring for senator, I'm thinking, really? I'm like, oh, dude, no. And then tried to bank on the fact that, well, Senator Fetterman, he has health issues, and then double down on it when he had his stroke. And I'm saying to myself, really, that you're gonna dig that low? Like, man,
Yeah.
so to me, I was gonna ask the question: do you think it's heroic or cowardly that Senator Fetterman sought help? But I believe we're in a consensus on this one. That is
Oh,
heroic.
no, he has to go get help, man.
Yes.
There's no
Mhm.
question about it. Especially this, it's okay. So I just released the clip actually, and we talk about again we've talked about we've spoken about this on privately as well,
Mhm.
but I feel men are under attack, and that's something we talk about. Me and Poppy talk about frequently as well,
Mhm.
because it's like anything we do, we're wrong. It's like we just can't get anything right. If I it's like we're feeling like everyone else can make mistakes, and it's okay. But let a man, the moment he make a mistake, it's time to bury him.
Quote: I try to visit my daughter once a week. On occasion, I go with my wife, but often we go by ourselves because it's like our personal time with her. There's no preparing for it. I treat it like I'm going to see my daughter as if we were going to see her anywhere else. At her tombstone, we have a bench, and I sit on that bench, and there's a fountain just a few yards ahead of me, and I stare at it. And I talk to my daughter, Jamie, and I tell her what's going on, and I give her insight into the things that I'm thinking about. No, I don't get responses, but every once in a while, I get signs that Jamie is hearing me. Close quote. Now, that begins an article in Men's Health of the father, Fred Gutenberg. Now, why am I reading this? Well, he is a father of unfortunately a deceased one of 17 members of the high school shooting in Parkland, Florida back in 2018. How do you go about commemorating a loved one that's passed away like this father's doing with his daughter?
Oh man, that's never thought about that. It's just there's just times where you just have that moment where you go and you sit someplace and you reflect and you just think about those people and another way you honor those people is by you continue to live and continue to grind.
Yeah. That is just something that you can't ever get past or get over. You have to get through it. And I know some days are better than others.
It is. It's a struggle. It's something people go deal with every day. There's just some days. Prime example was our good friend Brian Snow.
Yeah.
He had an episode, and we understand why. It's close to the anniversary of his daughter passing, and I wouldn't wish that upon any parent where they have to bury their child.
Yeah.
And so all you can do is be there for those people, is be there to support them, help them any way you can, be there to listen.
Yeah.
And the way I deal with it is I don't look at it as yes, they're no longer here and in the body, but I'm a big energy person. I feel that we all have energy around us, surrounding us, and
Right.
and a piece of their essence is always with you. There's a piece of them always with you. There's been energy transferred with these people that you love and cherish. So there's always going to be a piece of them with you. So that's why I feel like when he sits down, when the father sits down and at that bench, he gets that sign because of that energy that piece of energy that he carries around with him of her.
We're just getting started. Mentality will return. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. What's on E. Dicka's mind?
A and B, I'm going to see my way out of it. Because why? I don't care. I have a message for people who do nothing but complain about black people. We can't change who we are. You call the cops on me? I think that every time you call the cop on someone on a false accusation, your need to be a little bit punished.
BS3 Network proudly presents a man with a lot to say and is unabashed to say it. What's on E Digger's mind? Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Welcome back to Mentality, where we are the show that is for all men. I'm Cole Johnson, along with Wize and Jefe, and Mark Wahlberg. Now, you all know him as the Hollywood actor now, but he was the leader of Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and before that, he had a troubled past. So, why are we going to be talking about him on this show? Well, welcome to Hollywood Style. Now, Mark Wahlberg, he presented an award for the Screen Actors Guild, and it was for Best Ensemble to the predominantly Asian cast of Everything Everywhere All at Once last weekend. And it was a move, though, that prompted people to criticize the SAG and, of course, Wahlberg as well, because he's had an issue with the Asian community or Asian American community. So back in 1988, he was all of 16. He hit a Vietnamese man in the back of the head with a stick, and he tried to steal alcohol, and then he punched another in the face while trying to avoid police. And with that action, one man was sent to the hospital, and Mark, he spent 45 days in jail. Now, of course, he's later apologized, and he's dedicated himself since then to becoming a better person and raising millions of dollars for charity. And he tried to seek a pardon for his actions about a decade ago, but he decided, let me go against that, and he withdrew it. So I'll start with this. Should Mark Wahlberg be forgiven for his past?
Yes. Yeah, he should. People make mistakes. He was 16 years old. I've done things in the past that I'm not proud of. It was differences. He was caught, but he paid for it. He served his time.
Right.
He hasn't done anything similar to it. He hasn't done anything like that ever again.
No.
So why do we continuously keep people down by bringing up their past? Listen, that was a part of his past. That was a chapter in his life that I'm sure that he regrets. He regrets it.
Mm-hmm.
But he learned a big lesson from that. He's no longer done anything like that ever since.
Right.
So why do we keep persecuting him for something that he's already served his time for? Why are we a society that we can't let a person pay for their crime and we got to keep holding it over their heads? It's the same thing. Like, I'm sure people judge Poppy for the way he is, right?
Yeah,
but
they do.
He's changed since he served his time. He served the 7.5 years, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's trying to do something. He's not going back to the streets.
Right.
He's published a book. He's been creating content, trying to produce positive content out there.
Right.
But yet there are people out there that are going to judge him for his past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're an ex-con, that type of crap. Yeah.
Yeah. But why? Why? Like if they're making a change, if they're making an effort to change, or they have changed,
Oh, they have changed. Yep.
why do we insist on keep on labeling them cons? They're no longer those. They're no longer. Yes, they were convicts. Yes, they serve. But once they've served their time and they're human beings.
Why is forgiveness looked upon as a weak act when men institute it?
Who knows? Who knows? It's like I know that there's. You know what? And you know what? Sometimes when you forgive something or it's not necessarily for that person. You're not trying to get that person to forgive you. At the end of the day, it's you trying to forgive yourself. So if they want to continuously look at it as a sign of weakness, then that's their problem. But for me, I'm not. Listen, I've done people wrong, and I've been done wrong. And when I hope people forgive me for whatever if I've done anything wrong for them. But if they don't, I've forgiven myself. I've moved on because I'm not going to continuously to dwell on that. And that's what they want. They want us to be like, oh man, if you forgive if you forgive anyone else, you're weak. You're not strong enough. You can't. That's not man. That's not manly enough. You're not a man.
Right.
That's all bull. It's all bull.
It is. And when I had a conversation with my wife about this last week, and I said to her, I said, forgiveness is something that you do to make yourself not be caught up in the poison of what bitterness and enmity and hatred can do, because it can drag you to that spot and keep you there. Now, how do you know that you've forgiven somebody? You have done so when you can wake up in the morning and you don't have them on your mind, and you don't want to wrap your hands around their neck. You don't want to do, and I'm going to be extremely graphic here. You don't want to take a knife and stab them, I don't know how many different times. You don't want to take a gun and fill them with bullet holes. When you have those thoughts about somebody, then you are practicing unforgiveness. And you know who that hurts? You doesn't hurt anybody else. It hurts only you.
It hurts you because you're the one who has all this anger, and you're the one who's spending all this negative energy. It's you. You're only hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You're not hurting anyone else. They probably don't even know that you're angry with them sometimes.
They don't. Exactly. For the most part, they wouldn't.
They don't. Sometimes some people don't even know that they've hurt you. Because especially men, because we don't express ourselves.
No.
We don't tell our homeboy, oh man, dude, what you did to me the other day, that was messed up. Unless you really have that bond where you be like, yo, man, my G, that situation, man, it was not good. I didn't appreciate that. And then that's when y'all talk it out.
Yeah.
But when you hold anger, it's no good. It's just it's not doing anyone but yourself. You're not doing that. You're only hurting yourself. They don't. Sometimes the people you're angry at don't, like I said, don't even know you're angry at them.
No,
because they could care less if you're angry at them.
Thank you.
Mentality will be back in 2 and 2. If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
that pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, Wize.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central.
That's what I'm saying. I try not to I've always tried not to do anything to anyone that I wouldn't be done to me.
right.
I could probably when I was dealing with my grief and everything and some of the marriages that I've probably got involved in that I maybe those things, but that to me that was during the time that I just didn't care about anything or anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, it boils down to me forgiving myself.
Right.
It's like I'm sure there's a couple of husbands upset with me,
Mm-hmm.
but if I really think about it, it's just, had you really been doing what you were supposed to be doing at home, and it's true though. It is true. If you are stepping out of your marriage and then you get offended because your wife steps out of your marriage, I was wrong on my part to still do it because she was a married woman, but they had issues before me.
For me, it would probably be heartbreak. Now, I never stepped outside of any marriage or relationship, but I have done a couple of young ladies rather dirty, simply because I just was in the wrong headspace, going through divorce, trying to find something that would heal whatever damage was in my heart, and I was absolutely, positively wrong in behavior. And I ghosted one of them, and I scorched earth another.
Yeah.
And
again, believe me, I feel bad for what I did too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's, again, I can't continuously beat myself up over it. I can't continuously dwell on it because it happened. Will I do it? Would I do it again? No. I'm happily married. I'm in a good space. I'm no longer that person.
Of course not.
So I've done forgive myself and moved on, and hopefully they've moved on and they've changed their lives, and And that's all you can ask for. It's like, listen, just hopefully they can forgive you. If not, well, oh well. And I can imagine after a divorce, you just like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna be these. That's the mentality you're gonna have. That's the mentality.
It's unfortunate, but you're right.
And that's what it is. Like, you know what? I'm gonna do all dirty. And that's not saying that's not, but that's the
it isn't right.
Especially when you go through something like that. That's the mentality you're going in with. Like, I don't give a about these. It's wrong.
And that was the mentality. Yes,
it's wrong.
It's absolutely wrong.
See, my partner can't curse, so I will do it for him. He can, but he chooses not to curse. But I choose to, so I will do it for him. Yeah, these. That was the mentality.
But you're right. Yes.
But at that point in stage, if I had been going through something like that, it would have been my mentality is like, these hoes. I don't care about any of them. I'm gonna just do me.
Yeah.
I'm no longer. I'm no longer gonna allow these to break my heart. That's the mentality you're gonna be thinking with. Ladies, I apologize for saying, keep calling you out your names, but still, this is just the mindset that you might someone like in that situation might go.
Yeah. It was something that Muhammad Ali said, and I will take this to the grave with me. He said, if you are a man who thinks the same thing in the same way at 50 as you did at 20, then my friend, you have just wasted 30 years of your life. You have to evolve and change, and you can't at 50 do the same things that you were doing at 20. So you have to learn some lessons and learn how to be better.
Like, I seen a video the other day of a kid knocking out a teacher.
I saw that too, man.
Over a Nintendo Switch. Because she took away a Nintendo Switch.
And the kid was 6'6", 280.
Who does that? Like, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. And it has to do, and that's something that me and Poppy talk about, we discussed about, was the way a lot of these schools are doing things, and a lot of ways that they're trying to limit what parents can do. Like, there's all these things that they're trying to. I seen another clip. It was a gay father, and he says, the rainbow flags should not be displayed in schools. He says the rainbow flags are sexual in nature. Who are we? Because it's describing a sexual lifestyle. And so why are we introducing this into schools? Why are we asking kids what pronouns they want to be called? Why are we making it so difficult? Why can't we allow parents to it's again, they're trying to take away so many rights from parents that I don't get it, man.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you.
No, I'm not disagreeing. Great thing about it.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I don't see it as sexual. I just see it as straight evil, in my opinion.
You said straight evil?
Straight evil. I will bluntly say it. I see that as straight evil.
Let children be children. Let them enjoy life. Let them enjoy their childhood. Let them. Why do we want to stifle their creativity? Why do we want to confuse them with all this rhetoric and all this adult nonsense?
Yeah, because it is nonsense. I mean, they will grow up and learn when they do become of age. They will see all this and hear all this stuff. It's like, I was tripping over that? Really? because it is nonsense. It's nonsense now. It's even more nonsense when they're younger.
We weren't allowed in adult conversations.
Thank you. Thank you.
We weren't allowed. Like,
nope.
If adults were speaking, you left the room.
Man, I can't tell you how many times I heard both my parents say to me whenever they would entertain adults, and I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can't remember how many times my parents said, "Okay, time you leave the room.
Time for you to go to the room.
Time to go to the room." And it got to the point where they didn't even have to say it to me. If I knew they were going to invite other adults to the party or to the house, I'm like, okay, well, I know where
I'm in my room. I know where I gotta go.
I gotta go.
And if they brought their kids, all of us would be in one of the bedrooms hanging out, chilling.
That's right.
We were not in adult conversations.
And we shouldn't have been.
So and I don't understand why now we want to involve these kids in adult topics.
When my brother says that we as men are under attack, that's another way we are under attack. Because they try to emasculate fathers. They're trying to emasculate men who aren't fathers. And they're trying to emasculate parenthood that is masculine. And we're starting to see a more effeminate society. We are. That's just how it is. We're seeing a more effeminate society because, unfortunately, there's a lot of households that don't have men in it. The effeminate society that we're starting to see because a boy that size should not do that. He should not be that disrespectful.
Oh, no, he should have been taught like you are to protect people.
Your size is meant to, yes, exactly.
Protect people.
Your size and your strength is meant to protect people, not to hurt or harm them.
Yeah.
The only time you do hurt or harm somebody is if somebody who can't. Yeah. If somebody who can't and you defend them or you're defending yourself. That's the only time you do it. Besides that, you don't ever strike somebody and it's because you're angry at them and they didn't do anything to deserve it.
Yep.
Later, we will have Thoughts from the Throne. This is Mentality. There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for Monday. Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central.
So we're rounding third. We're coming home. Welcome back to Mentality. where this is the ultimate masculine safe space with Wize and Cole. I'm Cole Johnson, and this topic, this was something that my partner and my brother brought up, and it deals with one Brandon Miller, and we will discuss all of what we have to with him in the debut segment called The Learning Tree. Now, if you don't know Brandon Miller, he is a freshman basketball player for the University of Alabama. And 2 months ago, he did a favor of a fellow Alabama basketball player. And the incident went as follows. So it was January 15th. 23-year-old Jamea Harris of Birmingham was accosted by basketball player Darius Miles. And before it got all heated, Miles went to Miller and he asked for his gun. Not Brandon Miller's gun, Miles's gun. And so he went to retrieve it. Miller went to retrieve it, went to his car and retrieved it, came back to the scene, and Miles got into the car. He exchanged the gun with Miller, and Miles fired off and unfortunately shot Miss Harris to death. Now, Miles is off the team and he was charged. Miller's not being brought up on charges. He's still playing and he's still up for being National Player of the Year, and he has not received any infractions whatsoever from the school. So I will start by asking this, sir. Is this a case of talent over morality?
Yes.
From the University of Alabama's perspective.
Yes. You don't even have to. Yes. Yes. Because if he wasn't such a great basketball player, he would be with Darius Miles off the team. And it wasn't for the fact that he's generating money for the school. Because if they make the tournament as one of the top ranked teams and play in the tournament, it means more money for the school.
And they're in line for being the overall number one seed in the whole NCAA tournament. Yeah.
So why is he not off the team? Why is he not suspended? Did he know what he was going to go? All right. My thing is, but did he know? Does he know what was Merrill's intentions with the gun?
That's a good question.
Did he know that maybe Miles would be like, hey, can I get my gun? Okay.
That's a good question.
We really don't know what's the circumstance. We don't really know if it was, hey, can you bring me my gun? Okay, let me go get it. Not knowing that what he's gonna do with the weapon. Right. Now, if he knew what he was gonna do with the weapon, he should be charged as an accessory to murder.
Easily should be. He easily should be.
But we don't know the circumstances. We don't know what happened exactly. We only go by what is let go in the media. And I'm sure, again, there's boosters. There's people known as Alabama. Even though Alabama basketball isn't as big as Alabama football.
Not even close. It's not even close.
It's still a star athlete on a top-ranked team.
In a Power 5 school.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if it ain't if it ain't talent off of morality, I don't know what it is. I really don't.
How is it possible that Miller has escaped being an accessory to a murder charge? How has that been possible?
It blows my mind because unless the circumstances was like, yo, he told me to come, he needed me to pick up his gun and bring it to him, and I brought it to him. He didn't tell me what it was. I left. That's what I'm saying. We don't know the whole story. We don't know all the circumstances behind. I feel that he something needs to be done because this lady's no longer alive.
Yeah.
I don't think he intentionally. I don't know if he intentionally knew that he was going to use it on this young lady. I don't know. I don't know the circumstances.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then because more than likely he's going to be a lottery pick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the summer. Yeah.
If I'm this young lady's mother, I'm suing.
My father would always say to me, I mean, it was almost as if he filed in his memory bank and he told himself and gave himself a reminder to say this to me once a month for about every month for about 7 years straight. Where he would say to me, "Okay, son, whenever you are in a situation where you got some thugs or you got some friends that are trying to influence you to do something that's going to skirt the law or break it altogether, don't you be associated with that. Break away from that. Leave it, because you don't have to pull the trick." I can remember this as clear as day. He would say this to me as a child. He says, "You don't have to pull the trigger. You don't have to stab, and you don't have to throw the punch. If you're near it, you can get your butt arrested. If you're near it, if you know about you're near it, that will make you a part of this criminal activity. So do me a favor and don't be a part of that."
Exactly. No one cares that this young lady lost her life.
And
basketball, that basketball and athletics are more important than this young lady's life.
And that happened last week. So we're 1 month removed from the time this pat down introduction celebration happened. We were 1 month removed from when this incident happened. And the dude is taking part of a pat down introductory celebration. And I'm like, dude, you had one of your partners get expelled out of school. Forget being suspended off the team. He got expelled from the school and he's arrested, and he's now brought up on charges of murder.
Yep.
And right now you've skated all this. But from the accounts that I have heard thus far, it sounds like to me you're an accessory. And so you got to understand, a 23-year-old woman did not need to die, but did at the hands of your friend.
Yep.
And people are going to look at you, especially starting with that wonderful that wonderful woman's mother, is going to look at you and say, somebody else needs to pay. And just because he could put a ball through a hoop, dribble through somebody's legs, and have an explosive first step, and just yam on people, does not mean that he deserves to keep doing that, because he has to answer for a crime that I believe he was a part of.
Yep. Absolutely.
And he has to understand that is how the mother of this woman is going to think. And I'm not going to say she's wrong in thinking it.
Absolutely not.
Mr. Miller, I know this isn't thoughts from the throne, but this is learning trees. So basically, this is a wisdom type of segment. So to you, sir, understand you got to take responsibility for this action, man. You're part of this murder. Whether or not you didn't tell your boy to pull the trigger, whether or not you witnessed the murder, whether or not you either tried to talk him down or talk him off the ledge, so to speak, you went, you got your boy's gun, you drove back, and you exchanged the weapon with him in your car. That is suspect, my friend. And you have to deal with the consequences, because I guarantee you some will be coming.
Yeah.
Some will be coming. And this is something that I take pride in saying. But you have to think better. You have to think better, because you have too much going for you. Your life is just started.
Just hopefully he he learned from this experience, and it set him straight. And where he's like, and now I feel he needs to do something to honor this young lady's memory.
That's
So
a
you need
must.
to turn your life around and do better and do things to. I don't care if it's donating to combat domestic violence or whatever it is that you need to find to there's nothing I don't see there's nothing you can do to make this right. It really isn't. It's just the young lady who lost her life, but he needs to do better.
Yeah, he does.
You have to dedicate your life now to this young lady's memory and make sure that it doesn't happen to someone else.
And now, thoughts from the throne. Each of us has 2 minutes to dispense wisdom upon those on a topic that's on our heart, whether it is something that is current events or if it's something personal. Doesn't matter. It's just wisdom that we dispense. 2 minutes, and I submit the floor to you, King. The floor is yours.
All right, so I don't want people to think that what we were talking about earlier, it's us being naive or us being, it's just how we feel. Again, I have family that are gay and lesbian, and I love them to death, and I accept who they are. I just feel that our children need to be protected. We just need to let them be children. Let us deal with adult situations. Let these kids be themselves. Let them enjoy their lives. Let them enjoy their childhood. Why are we so fast to rush these kids to grow up? Life is hard as it is. And for us to take away their childhood because of our stupidity and not taking responsibility for what is going on in this world, it's crazy. We need to do better. We really need to help our children. Children are the future, and if we continue to push this agenda and not fight back, I'm afraid of what's to come. Like, I have some grandchildren coming up, and I just want them to enjoy their childhood. I want them to be able to enjoy life and be kids, like how I was able to enjoy my childhood. And that's all I want for them. So we need to do better. We need to really focus on developing our children and not rushing them to be adults.
Wow. That was well said, man. Well said. Wow. I'll address this to somebody. I'm not going to mention his name. And I'm not going to mention the family, but you know who you are when I say this. You robbed from your mother. You robbed copious amounts of money from her. And there's nothing that she can do about it. Now, being a man, you're supposed to, when you see somebody who cannot protect themselves, you're supposed to be their biggest advocate, not their greatest source of pain. Right now, you, sir, are the greatest source of your mother's pain. And not too far behind it, your sister. Now, when I was growing up, my father and my uncle and many of my older cousins, who were men at the time and when I was a child, would want to take someone like you, drive you to a certain place, and just simply lean into you and beat sense into you figuratively, mentally, emotionally, and physically. I don't want it to come to that, because I want you to be a man and realize that you have abused your authority as a man on someone who you should never abuse your authority to. This woman is a senior citizen. Your power is to protect her. You did not do that, and you should be ashamed of yourself in hurting somebody who does not deserve your poison to visit her doorstep. And these are thoughts from the throne. Well, that'll do it for this episode. I thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to this on the YouTube channel, listening to it, and downloading the podcast version of it. And wherever you watch, whether it's Comey Media, Real Wize TV, Snowman Multimedia, or any other place, we thank you for viewing this important vehicle that we're on and this journey we're taking. So for Wize El Jefe, I'm Cole Johnson, here to always say, as we do in parting, our secret technique is that we always speak with mentality. Until next week, see you next time.
Next 100.